Welcome back to Bills, Bets, and Beers. This is your host, Chad. This is a channel where I mostly talk about Bills football, NFL in general, go through some parlays I do for like the Monday, Thursday, Sunday night football games, and also do an occasional tasting and rating of a tasty brew. As you can tell by the video, we're going to be going over that Bills Bengals preview, and I got a special guest on my channel. It's going to be my buddy Evan. He's got his channel over at Mr. Nasty Time. I'll bring him right in. There he is. Let's go. Big week. We've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. So we knew it would be pivotal, but this is a little bit more pivotal than I thought it'd be. To be honest, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a three team race for the number one seed.
Oh yeah, going to be a huge thing going on. We can just go through some quick NFL news real quick. Just like that Tua situation is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel bad. I was actually thinking about him today, and I was like, so we already knew that Tua couldn't. He's not the best athlete. Like obviously, a better athlete than us, but it's like he doesn't have the actual physical body to withstand a lot of the stuff that goes on in the NFL, and he's got to make smart plays and stuff. And it's like he's taken a handful of hard hits, and then it's like every 3 weeks he's in concussion protocol. So it's like, is he going to be able to maintain the rigors of an NFL season? Like at some point you got to make some money and then think to yourself, like, should I even, if I'm going to get hurt this bad, like you're going to keep playing? Like if you hit your head and you're just like,
what seemed concerning to me is it wasn't even the staff that came up to him and said, hey, he literally walked up, like, at least from what McDaniel said, came up to the staff on the Monday night checkup and said, "Hey, I'm feeling these symptoms." That's what's more concerning. It's like they didn't even have a concern of him having a concussion, and it's like he just came in and said, "Hey, by the way, it's the day after the game. I actually have some concussion things going on." So it's definitely a weird situation.
You know who the backup is?
Yeah, they're Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the backup for him and starting at that point.
You can still win a lot of football games with Teddy Bridgewater. Have you seen Teddy Bridgewater's numbers? Steady Teddy, dude.
Dude, I've been watching some of TD Finn's talk because he's like pretty out there as like a Dolphins, and he has a big following like in YouTube, and it's just funny because he's just like going, "I've been telling you 3 years, Tua's might not be our guy because he can't do certain things," and it's like, and then the injury thing is huge, and like it's like, who knows? Teddy Bridgewater might come in and save the season, but if he doesn't do good, then it's Teddy Bridgewater's fault for kind of not making it in a sense. So it's like a little scapegoat sense going on, but it's not like Tua's fault. It's just it's gonna make Tua might give him another year in Miami, possibly.
Yeah, the Tua thing's an odd one, right? Because like when the right stuff is around him, he's proven for most of the season that he's a pretty good quarterback. You probably, if you did a scale like from F to A, he's probably like a B minus, probably. When he's played the best ability, he can make a lot of throws. He's super accurate between and outside the hash marks, short yardage stuff, middle of the field. When he gets the right pieces, he can throw the ball downfield if he's confident, lets it go. The reason why in the future he might not be the guy for them is ideally you want to pay a lot of money if you're going to pay a lot of money to a quarterback, to a guy that if you have injuries or if you're not playing to the best ability, he can help you overcome those things. I feel like he's in a right system that's tailored to him, accuracy and stuff. Yeah. When you look at his, like I'm bigger than Tua and I'm not an NFL player. Like he's struggling with durability. And if you look at the durability factor and the fact that if issues arose on the team to where he was playing without a lot of the pieces around him, if a lot of guys went down, he doesn't have the physical tools and the highest level of skills of that position to really carry a team. And now with him getting hurt, it's just like, if you can't, it's one thing to break something, but if you're like, honestly, a lot of it is like his athleticism. He gets thrown around like a rag doll, and it's like concussion. If you're having trouble with concussions, that's one of those things. It's like you need to like either if you're developing a pattern of where you're like I hit the ground and I get concussed. At this point, he's probably made a good chunk of money. It might not be good for him to play. You got to figure your health too.
Yeah, I think
beat yourself brain dead.
Yeah, I think I forgot what it was, but Sean, damn it, McCoy was on there. Sean McCoy was on there, and he was saying, he goes, just saying, I mean, if like for the Tua situation, it's like for his health, he might be better off retiring almost.
Yeah.
Because at this point, if every single time you hit the ground, they're gonna be worried about you having a concussion, and then you might not be able to like always having that thought in the back of your mind. You're not going to play football because you can't be worried about hitting the ground and getting a concussion every single time. Like football, you're going to be doing that often, you know. And he's like, it might be better for his health to retire because 3 in 1 year. They were saying like I didn't realize it. Like Luke Kuechly, he retired after 3 in 1 year at age 28.
Yeah, and that's a guy that's actually getting serious contact play to play.
No, that's what I'm saying. And like he has a lot of stuff going. Like, obviously, linebacker, he's going to get hit in the head a little bit more. But you know what I mean? Like 3 in 1 year, he was like, yeah, I'm good. Like he could probably play another 4 years at least easy with his like athletic ability.
At his level, I've always said this. In my opinion, there was a stretch of time where he was probably the most like efficient linebacker I'd ever watched. And we've watched football since we were 5. So I got to see like Ray Lewis, all these other guys play. Ray Lewis is probably the best ever. But in terms of efficiency, being in the right places, dissecting plays, picking plays apart, getting from point A to point B without, taking on a lot of traffic, like his ability to snake through like zoned run schemes and stuff and just be in the backfield. Like he was such an efficient player. And even a guy that's super efficient, he got hurt a lot. He could have, if he would have staved off the injuries and the concussions, like he could have, he retired when he was 28?
Yeah, super young.
Yeah, he probably could have sustained that level till about like 32, 33 probably.
Yeah, he just didn't want to be a vegetable at the end. You didn't want to be like.
Would you?
No, that's why he already made enough money. At that point, he already gone through his first big contract. You know what I mean? And he's going to make money being in the media in a sense and doing other things. So he's not worried about going broke. One thing
too, it should be fortunate about is he was a high pick. He was a quarterback that was a high pick. Between endorsements and his contract, he probably got a fat bonus. I would say he's probably made anywhere between like probably $20 to $30 million. And he really hasn't had to play all that much, for it. If he can't play sustain a full season, then he should call it quits. He's probably had enough money to where like you can go do other things and not slur your speech by the time you're 40. People don't look at it like that though. They don't. He'll probably play and he'll go full blown Chuck Liddell by the time he's 30.
Yeah, definitely was interesting. That even like I didn't see that part of the game, but I don't even think they brought him into the tent to check him after they hit to the ground. They pulled him back up and he went. And I think it might have been a 4th down or whatever, but they after that hit, he just got back up and went back into play. Like there was no like, hey, let's check you out.
It's tough.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I feel bad for him, man. I hope he gets it together, man. It sucks.
I figured I might as well get that elephant out the room because that was huge, at least news to me.
Stinks. That first before you move to the next one, that first time he got hurt. That was the first time in a long
against
time.
The Bills?
I really felt bad for him. I felt bad for someone really bad. Like, supposedly he's like such a good guy, and he was starting to play to where I thought he could play. I was spamming you guys too and all this other stuff. And when he went down, then he was hurt that bad. I really felt bad for him, but whatever.
Well, he got flung down in that Bengals game, and it didn't help because 4 days before that against the Bills, he got hit hard too by Milano, and his head smacked back. And they said, "Yeah, you're good to go. Second half, let's go, boys."
Oh, it was a Bengals game where wasn't it BJ Hill that fucking slammed him on his head?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even. Yeah, it was because he picked him up,
dumped him down. Yeah,
because he was running away, so he grabbed him and kind of just chucked him down.
Crazy.
But yeah, next section I got injuries to track. Obviously,
Okay,
injury
my
report.
bad. Okay. Okay,
You
I see
can't
you down here. Injuries to track. I see your
you,
setup. Keep going.
you can't actually like look at the injury report like I like to do for certain games. But at this point, all we can do is like tracking what happened before. Um, I got a couple like for the Bills. Mitch Morse, he was in concussion, and I guess from what I was from looking through stuff, it's like his sixth one in his whole career. He's been playing for a while. He's not a young buck really. He's not old. So I'm guessing they gave him that last week. He would have made that week anyways because he got it during that game, the Dolphins game. So was it? Yeah, it was during Dolphins. So it's like he wasn't going to play last week anyways. It was such a short like a week long period. They probably want to give him time. So we definitely need him this week. I'm I'm hoping he comes in because I mean Ryan Bates came in as center for him and he got out. We were down to our third string center against the Bears at one point in the game, but Bates came back in thankfully. But it's just I don't like people having different centers there because that whole like connection with the QB with snapping like even just right on like when he's right on the center or just like 5 yards back like five it's like you have to have that connectivity and it just helps having a guy that you've been doing that for 4 years with or 3 years with, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At least to me. And then Boogie Basham just because we're gonna need he's not a huge piece but he's a good rusher and we need at least a good amount of energy back there where we can have more people rotating because that always helps the Bills having rotation back there. Um, you can say your side. The only ones I have on the list is Sam Hubbard and Hayden Hurst. I think those would be two
Um,
key players for you guys. I'm not sure if Sam Hubbard's out. It says it's a calf injury, and those can be very tricky, especially with the postseason coming up.
I think they say Sam Hubbard is out. Lyle
Is it?
Collins is now officially out. They thought he wasn't hurt before, and now he's out for the season.
Oh Jesus!
So he's injured. His pass pro hasn't been as great as it usually is this year. So Akeem Adenashe is going to step in for him. And in terms of pass pro, which is what I really care about for the most part, Akeem Adenashe is going to step in for him. He's played a lot of snaps with the Bengals. Obviously, it's Chidobe Awuzie has been out. He's been hurt. And we're starting Eli Apple, Cam Taylor-Britt. Both guys have been playing well for us. But no, I think outside of those handful of guys on defense and the right tackle, I think everyone's playing.
Okay, that's good.
I think everything's gonna be all systems go, which I do. I do love that the Bengals are on this huge win streak with a bunch of guys hurt. We didn't have Trey Hendrickson for a couple weeks. We didn't have Joe Mixon for a couple weeks.
Yep.
Hendrickson's out there playing with a broken wrist. He's technically injured and playing, but
You got 7 wins in a row. It's big.
yeah.
Do you think Hayden Hurst is going to be available for this or?
Oh, Hayden Hurst. I'm not sure. I thought he wasn't playing.
Yeah, because I know he didn't play last week, right? I know he was out last week.
Yeah, no, but the kid that replaced him scored. It was funny. Will Cox.
Because Hayden Hurst was like a thing in like parlays. You can always put Hayden Hurst for at least 3 to 4 catches a game, and because it just happened because he just Burrow kept just dumping it down to him. Like even when you guys were down, he would dump it down over the middle. Even when you guys were up, when he got rushed real quick, just pop it to him. It always seemed like he got around 5 or 6, at least 4 catches a game. So
he's really reliable.
It's good not to. I mean, we already have enough to worry about with the wide receivers out there, so I don't want to worry about Hayden Hurst getting his catches either.
Yeah. So it's just the defensive side of the ball, which is the real struggle. But
So next one up, we got our storyline and matchups. I just threw some like this little ticker at the bottom for it, just like some like big games coming up for playoffs for everything. But the first storyline I got, like I said, it's gonna be the Bills secondary. Obviously, Trey White's had like 4 or so games to kind of get back into like towards 100%, actually like playing well. He played pretty well last game. The the big thing, honestly, for me is you got that three-headed monster back there with surprisingly Higgins leading the way, which I didn't know that. I thought Jamar Chase had more. And then I looked it up.
Chase
Not
missed 3 weeks.
not the case.
Chase missed 3 weeks, but Chase has still almost got 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he's
now,
got 9.
So
so you got 960 for Chase. Then you got 711 for Boyd. Boyd's been going off. With the weeks that Chase hasn't been in there, but I think it's gonna be interesting what the Bills do because they don't like to have people follow other people. Like with Trey White on the field, he keeps I always forget if it's the left or the right side. He keeps his side pretty much. Usually doesn't move from his side.
So when you're playing defense,
and
it's the left and right is the perspective of what you're like if you're on defense. So ideally, usually left corners would be considered left corner is the side that Tre'Davious White's always on. But if you play fucking Madden, different years they've messed it up, and I found this out that if you ever play Madden, depending on the year you play it and you simulate, you'll see that like your backup wide receiver, whoever's your second string receiver, sometimes will score more and get better stats than your first guy. That's because different years of Madden have swapped what side they put your number one guy on. It's like it's really weird.
Okay.
But the quarterback will still throw to that side of the field.
Yeah, but I'm very interested what they're gonna do, the Bills. If I was them, I would maybe try to like follow Jamar Chase in a sense, but I don't know if he's a good matchup for Chase because I think with Elam, I think you'd have to be a little bit more physical with Chase because even though Chase is big, you want to slow him down in a sense because he's a speed guy. He's Jamar Chase is pretty fast, right? Isn't he a 4.3?
Yeah, he runs like a 4.3 something. But the thing I like about Chase is you got to remember he's the smallest out of those three guys. They list him at 6 foot, 200 pounds. What I like about Chase is I feel like if you're playing Jamar Chase, you do have to try to be more physical with him. And you want to try to knock him off his routes because once he gets out in the open field and starts moving around doing his route, he's just hard to contain. But that being said, I think you got to also have a guy that has good rebounding speed. If the speed's not there, if you're going to press a guy, but you don't have good like rebounding speed, it's tough. So the matchups against these three guys that are on the Bengals are tough. I do, however, I really get the sense that teams' approach to going at Jamar is to try to press him and to be physical with him. But I love how I definitely think dudes try to, approach playing him like he's some punk bitch, but he plays bigger than he
like I said, he's
physical. He runs through guys, breaks tackles. And he's the smallest one out of three. Tyler Boyd's 6'2", 205, something like that.
Yeah, he plays your slot, right?
Yeah, they line him up all over the place, but he's primarily our slot receiver. I think his speed's a little bit deceiving. He's got long arms and stuff, but yeah, he primarily is our slot guy. But he can line him up anywhere.
Yeah, I think Teron Johnson should be good in the slot there. I'm just more worried about the CB2, to be honest. I'm interested in who they're going to put in there. I still think they're probably going to go with Dane Jackson initially and kind of like fluctuate between who like Elam and stuff in there, but I just don't like Dane Jackson against like majority of the wide receivers.
I mean, personally, if I'm a defensive coach and I'm going against T, I'm putting my most physically capable guy probably on T. Like the guy that gives me the best height, weight, speed, attacking the point of the ball, physical in the air guy. That's probably who I'm putting on T. Ideally, you're like bracketing coverage towards Jamar. That's what teams have been doing. And you need a guy, if you're going to defend both of them, you got to find one guy that can follow T around and at least go tough on tough with him and try to, attack him where he's strong. He's faster than people give him credit for, but his game's point of the attack. Burrow's just going to find the soft spot, put it where only T can get it, and try to let T go get it,
Yeah. Then, So the next one I have is the Bills' defensive front seven. They need to make the Bengals one-dimensional in offense. I know, like, that's your best dimension, which you can't really deny it. But if we can get if the Bills can get that natural like pressure with a four-man like rush, then it'll give them the ability to have more people back there. Like the safeties can help more and not have to worry about it's going to be a run situation. You know what I mean? Like if we can get that pressure and not like and keep in our lanes in a sense, that'll keep. I don't know. It's going to help the Bills tremendously because your running game hasn't been awful, but it hasn't been at what it was in years past. You know what I mean? So it's slowed down in a sense, but I'm not sure if it's just because like like type of game style you guys have been playing. I've been watching as many Bengals games, but
I think it's just where it needs to be.
Yeah,
it just needs to be like efficient and timed right. Ideally, although in terms of attempts, we run the ball a lot.
Oh yeah,
which I think is crazy. Like we'd probably win by more if we threw it a little bit more. But.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers. It's just like the yards per attempt weren't as high.
Yeah.
For it. Like, what happened in that Patriots game? Like, what made it so close?
Well, if you go back and watch the Patriots game, there was some stupid like variance, and like the Patriots got lucky with some big plays. Really, is all it is. Like, we they did the whole toss it up to Keisha one play and just threw a bomb, and like out of desperation, the wide receiver jumped up and came down with it. And it put him, and I don't remember if he got in the end zone or if it put him in scoring position and they scored. Then Jamar had a play where he catches the ball and he's out there doing his thing, and then he literally just lets a dude rip it out of his hands and they got the ball back.
Oh my God.
So we were kind of like shooting ourselves in the foot. Like we gave up like 2 big plays. There's a couple bad penalties and then a turnover, and that could swing things around. And one thing I didn't like was I definitely do think a lot of teams do this, and it was not a referendum on the Bengals, but teams, I don't like it when dudes get butthurt about teams running up the score. Like Adam gets all butthurt about it. Go run the school. It's like, I'm going to score as many points as I possibly can because I know dudes like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen could fucking come down from 20 points. And I definitely think there was a little bit of, okay, we're beating the Patriots by 20. So let's game plan a more conservative style game. And I also think that attributed to it as well. They weren't as aggressive in the second half.
I mean, look at that Minnesota game, dude.
Yeah.
33-0. And it's like, who knows if I don't think they switched up their tactics, but they probably did a little bit. But why would they be less aggressive? They're already out of the playoffs anyways, you know?
And look, one of the things I can't stand about our group chat, we have a group chat where we all talk shit about football. Everyone acts like teams don't have losses in the regular season and don't have bad or close losses or close W's. Like your team, my team, we've only lost combined 7 games. I love how these dudes just come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh, you had a close game with so-and-so, close game. And it's like, bro, your team is fucking barely scraping by, or they're not good, or you just lost the other week. It's hard to win. It's the NFL. It's not easy. You're not going to blow everyone out by 30, okay? You're not going to win every game. And you're not going to play to the best of your ability all the time. Even the best teams, they don't, like, have you ever – there's a couple Patriots teams that kind of just like, and a couple Colts teams that kind of like, remember the Broncos and they had Peyton Manning that first year? There's only been a handful of teams that literally just were like, steamrolled everyone all season. Like, you just don't do that. Like, the game, football's odd, just like the Patriots game. We let off the gas a little bit, got a little sloppy. A team that fucking sucks on offense all of a sudden just fucking wheel their way back into the game. It's like, you know, it's just it's not gonna. It's all these dudes like act like a loss or two, or a close game is a 100% a definition of who you are. That's not always the case for every single team. Now, you brought up the Vikings. The Vikings are a team where you can make a serious criticism about them because they've won a lot of games, but they've lost a lot. They've won a lot of close games and they've lost to some teams they shouldn't have beat. That pattern, you're kind of like, man, like they've won ugly, they've won big, like they lost to teams, a few teams they shouldn't have. The Vikings are one of the teams going to the playoffs where it's like you're not going to be surprised no matter what happens to that team, unless that team goes to the Super Bowl. I'd be surprised if that team wins the Super
Bowl. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting because you're getting beat big by bad teams. That's the difference. The difference is you're losing to bad teams by a lot of points.
Like the Vikings coming back to the Colts in that game. That's the definition of how the Vikings have been all year. You don't know what you're going to get. Down by 30, come back, win a fucking football game. Like ridiculous. So.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so funny. What in the parking lot tailgating, people were just watching that game. We're like, oh my god,
it's nuts. Yeah, it's nuts. And like, let's be real here. Again, you can only do that if your offense is designed a certain way. You can't, like, they got defensive stops and stuff like that. But, they didn't fucking run their way to victory. Fucking, they're throwing the fucking pill all over the place. Like, that was freaking wild. Kirk Cousins is like,
yeah.
But.
So this next storyline, like, it's going to be, like, I have, like, the Bills O-line has been very, not wish-washy, just without Morse in there, without a good starting center, the starting center usually helps out the guards next to him. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I'm going to be here. I'll help out the guard that needs my help. You know what I mean? I can point things out to everybody, tell people on the line, do stuff.
Shit's getting real when your center starts going, starts like taking his hand off the ball point around.
And then when your starting center's not out there and it's a backup, it's like he has then do the guards trust him to do his job fully? I mean, you have to, but there's going to be something in the back of their heads. You know what I mean? It's like once you have that group that works with each other all the time, it's like you only have so much practice during the week. So I'm hoping Mitch Morse gets back in there for us just to help with the O-line. But if he's not in there, we're going to have some trouble with Hendrickson you got back there. He's got 6 sacks on the year, right behind Hubbard, which probably not as good as going to be playing. Yeah, with 6.5. So that's big. I mean,
well, you got BJ Hill and DJ Reed are up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you guys got a really good couple good pass rushers, and I think they've been doing decent with like at least providing Josh with some he has a pretty good pass pro. It's not horrible, but he's definitely been running when he doesn't have certain people on the line. And I mean, then it just creates another obstacle for the defense. But if you guys are smart and don't over rush past him and keep those lanes filled, he's not gonna be able to really get away from you guys too much. In a sense, I mean, he's a magician sometimes, but when you're that type of quarterback, you can get in a sticky situation to get out. I just think our offensive line needs to come up big, stop with these holding penalties. Last game, we had 9 penalties for 70-something yards.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, and we had penalties on punts, on punt returns too, that brought us back closer to the end zone, that killed drives sometimes. It's just, yeah, we were able to get it out of that hole, but when you're that tight to the end zone, no one wants to start on the 1-yard line. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can't really run, because if you get stuffed, it's a safety. And then in the pass, they're going to be expecting it. It's going to be a short pass too, because you don't have so much room back there. So it's very sticky situation. So I'm looking for this O-line to do something against you, do a better job against your guys' front seven, because to be honest, we had trouble with the Bears last week in a sense. Allen was running a little bit more than he needed to at times.
Yeah, it's tough. So I think we got to remember we're coming in there with I think it's a top 5 run defense. So I really think the real storyline is if the run defense shows up, can we contain Josh Allen enough to make sure his feet doesn't become the part of the run defense that defeats us and force him to throw? But on the other end, even though you want to force him to throw in this matchup, our back end is playing. We're playing with Eli Apple, who's better than people give him credit for. He grades out well, plays well. You get. I know everyone's like, "What's about how you play in the postseason?" He gets mossed a couple times, and everyone's like, "Oh, Eli Apple sucks," but he's been playing good football for the Bengals. And then we got the rookie Cam Taylor-Britt, who's been playing really good for the Bengals. He's playing in a starting role. So this is a weird matchup. It's like ideally I'd like to force your team to continuously throw the football, but the Bengals are missing their best corner, so it's a double-edged sword, right? But what I do think the Bengals are going to do is I do think they're going to come out with a balanced game plan. Everyone acts like I think rushing is dumb. I don't think rushing is dumb. I just think the passing game is more efficient, more explosive, and you could do a lot more with it. I mean, that's just proven. But depending on the matchup, depending on the situation, the run is absolutely something you should do. I expect them to implement a way more balanced game in this because I do think that they could run the ball on your Bills team. That's what I think they think.
Yeah, I mean, our run defense has got a lot better, has been getting better the past couple weeks. Granted, Miami just burned us with Mostert, but then the next week after that against the Bears, we just we held the whole we held the field to 11 yards rushing, and then we also but the Bills are good against mobile quarterbacks. They have one on their damn team. They better be. And also, they've had Lamar Jackson's number the past couple of years. And I in my video, I said, just give him the Lamar treatment. That's why I think for you, I don't know, for you guys can handle Fields pretty well too, because you guys face Lamar enough where you know how to treat a quarterback like that. You don't over pursue. You keep your lanes filled up, and you basically keep them in the pocket. So where it's either going to make a mistake or eventually get sacked.
Right.
Don't let him leave. Don't let him leak.
Right.
Because as soon as that point, he's getting 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the note of what the defense is going to try to do, how do you think they're going to cover Stephon Diggs? In the past, people have been blanketing Diggs and putting their best corners on Davis. But I think that's kind of falling through with Knox getting a little bit better and our run game kind of boosting up in a sense the past couple weeks.
Right. So one thing I will say is both of our teams' wide receiver cores are, in my opinion, deadly, but for two different reasons. So the Bengals wide receiver core, like you always say, it's a three-headed monster. And yeah, those three wide receivers contrast each other really well. And you could carry them against any defensive personnel and you have a shot at winning on most occasions, in terms of the matchups. The one thing I don't like about playing your team is, you could be the Bengals have a better wide receiving core in terms of talent. Yeah, sure. But you have a bona fide number one is Stephon Diggs. You got a guy that is not as consistent, but makes a lot of big plays in Gabriel Davis. So he has to be accounted for, but you have a lot of depth. Not just at the wide receiver position, but at the other positions too. Depth at running back, guys can catch the ball out of the backfield, do a lot of different things. And in the middle of that is, Josh Allen orchestrating it all. Right now, the thing that worries me about the Bengals is some of the spots that the Bengals are thin at. It's harder for you to overcome the matchups when the team's really deep. We're already playing backup corners, and it's I got to cover Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie. Who else the hell you got there? You got
Dawson Knox, tight end.
Dawson Knox.
Khalil Shakir's been coming on.
Yeah, Khalil Shakir. And then you got homeboy back that everyone loves. What's his name? Little white dude.
Beasley's out there now.
Beasley. You got so many guys that can catch the ball over the field. Naheem Hines, James Cook. So the linebackers in this game are going to have to, Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson and Akeem Davis-Gaither, they're going to have a lot more of a workload in covering guys when you guys go into deeper sets, 4 and 5 wide receiver sets, because we don't have as much active, healthy talent at the cornerback position. So it's going to spread things a little more thin based off what packages you come in and out of. So that's the thing that when you go against the Bengals, they play in 3 wide receiver set more than anyone else. And you kind of can stagger your defenses when they're only going to come out with 3 wide receivers in a certain way where there's a lot more help, even if those 3 guys are the best 3 guys in the league. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's like from a health standpoint, we're not equipped to face a wide receiver core that's that deep right now. So it's an interesting one.
I can see the Bills doing a lot of 5 wide and then doing runs out of it.
Yeah, just Josh Allen.
With Allen or because Cooks and Singletary, dude, Singletary was 1 yard off. I mean, no, Singletary went under 9. Cooks was 199 yards. We almost had 200-yard rushers against that Bears game, and Allen got 40 something or whatever it was, 60 something, whatever it was, something big. So it's we had a big game. We did 250 something rushing yards last game. So it's getting better. And I think people always think the Bills don't have a run game, but we've been averaging 5.3 yards a carry. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, again. So I tell people that's another one that you watch all these analysts. They're like, you need to run your football more. You need to run your football more. It's about when running the football is not as efficient as passing. Play calling is key when it comes to running the football, and ideally you would like to optimize and take opportunities or try to run the ball more efficiently. It's not about fucking 1,000. All these dorks that say just keep running it. They would fucking lose their job in a millisecond.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these teams that just keep running it is because they don't have the fucking players and personnel to pass it. Okay? They build up these teams that play middle of the pack defense and then top 15 rushing. And it's that's cool enough to get you a bunch of games. And if you get lucky enough on defensive variance, you can win a lot of games. Not to pick on them, but look at the Giants right now. So the Giants are sitting around 500 because a lot of things in terms of our projection of what we thought teams were going to be and what they really are has been favorable for them. And then they've gotten a lot of breaks in terms of they're really good at calling plays. They got really good coaching, and they got this personnel where they've done a really good job controlling games in terms of time and possession stuff. But you can only do that continuously against really good teams. You go back and look at that team, they've had a lot of good breaks, and they've had the right play calls and played good enough defense at the right times to where they're hovering around 500. But it's they didn't beat a lot of good teams. And it's you're not going to do what they're doing now and get to Super Bowl. People think that's playoff football. It's not. It's not playoff football.
No.
That's first round exit football. Because you're not going to play another team that plays like that. You're not. Yeah. There's not another team that's going to be in the playoffs that plays like that.
Nope. And even on the NFC side, they have a lot of, because NFC is a little bit more stacked with run at least running offenses. I would put them as. But they definitely have a lot of powerhouse wide receivers too that they're just going to burn you if you're if you can't go up against a team that's been passing all day and you're just running the ball. Unless your defense is taking that ball away almost every drive or stopping them every drive, then you're not going to win.
Yeah, and another thing, real quick, to surmise what I was saying is these dudes build these rushing teams or love these teams that run the football. And it's not trying to be whatever, but you take these, for example, Mixon's almost to 1,000 yards and he's missed games. And then I got Burrow, who's going to finish the year with 4,500 yards and all these touchdowns. All my running backs have been productive for the Bengals, right? That's so much production. Then you go look at a team like we just talked about, it's going to make the playoffs, in the Giants. Barkley's barely gotten over 1,000 rushing yards this season. And then Daniel Jones is only thrown for 2,600 yards. And and you combined all their touchdowns and all their yardage, Burrow's produced more than their whole offense.
Yep.
Alone. And that's not including the rushing. He's going to have more touchdowns and more yards moving the football than the Giants' whole entire offense. And teams like that are going to do that to you more. A lot of these guys have teams like that think, oh, man, yeah, okay, any given Sunday, cool. But like these dudes that are that confident, you're just going to roll in there with that roster and that game plan. You're just going to run all over these high-powered teams. It's not going to happen. That's why their best win is like what, Baltimore?
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, my last little thing here for like storylines, it was kind of talked with like when you're saying like how you want to have like very even like play calling in a sense, a good passing the rushing like holding hands in a sense for like a good even play calling on it.
I don't think it's got to be even. I just think you got to know when to do what wherever it lands.
Because
wherever it lands,
I'm more interested to see how Dorsey's going to play this because the past couple weeks we've been doing like our plays have literally been like 29 passing, 32 rushing. It's been around like 3 play differentials where it's like it never used to be like that. So now it's very interesting, and those because we've been playing cold weather, crappy weather games. We're going down to your guys' stadium in the jungle, and it's going to be 50 degrees out, maybe some rain, and a little bit of wind.
That's what the weather's going to be?
Yeah, it said 50. It was like 50-something degrees, like 60% rain, and it was like maybe 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, if that. And I'm like, if it's that type of game, like, I like that we've been running the ball more. I think it's preparing us a little bit more for playoffs because the Bills were one-dimensional a lot of the year. And that's where people kind of said, hey, we'll just blanket Stephon Diggs and put our best cornerback against Davis, and we're not really worried about your run game. You know what I mean? We'll just lock everyone in the back, and we're going to make you guys – we not make you guys throw it, but we're going to lock that down. So if you're only going to throw it, then we don't have to worry about you running the ball, really. So it's like I'm happy we're getting more two-dimensional in a sense, where the running game wasn't horrible, but a lot of that was Josh Allen. He has 790-something rushing yards right now. Ridiculous. With 7 touchdowns. He has more than majority running backs. So it's just like that definitely boosts us a little bit with that aspect. We're either going to see like a very complimentary game, or we're going to see a literally fist fight between Allen and Burrow, throwing the ball back and forth. Little gunslingers out there just making it, doing what they can. And like, if it does that, it's going to be like a 40-something, 30-something game.
Yeah, I think it's got the potential to be a field goal game.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
I think it'll be close. Bills are the favorites.
Yeah, by technically getting a point when you guys are home, that's like +4 in a sense, because 3-point is usually like the normal for a home game and home field advantage. But yeah, it's definitely close. I didn't think it'd be more than +1. I thought you guys might have been I thought it'd been more of like a pick 'em at that point. I didn't think they give the Bills a point.
Gotta remember the Bengals have been covering the spread, kid, covering the spread all year.
Yeah. Talking about that game prediction. What's the score prediction you're going for?
Oh, I was joking in the group chat. Said 27.
No, I'm saying like, what's the real? Which? I'll tell you mine first.
I don't know. I think it'll be a close game. I think honestly, it's. Listen, let's be real. Burrow. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of his interceptions have been not his fault this year. I mean, if I had $1,000 for every time someone tipped one of his passes and it became an interception, I'd have a tiny little savings bank. But regardless of how you want to dice it, he's as phenomenal as he is. I don't know if it's because he takes chances. I always wonder, is he going to be like this Brett Favre type figure where he can make every single throw with his eyes closed, but he's not scared to put it in places he shouldn't, get interceptions? I think it'll probably come down to who turns the ball over, I think, more in the air. I think it's going to be like what quarterback plays better. I think it's what quarterbacks will make more mistakes. When these two teams are fully healthy, they match up in a very interesting way. I would say the Bengals a little more banged up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know a score. I mean, it could be a super low scoring game. I think it most likely be a high scoring game. But I don't have a prediction. The game's just too close.
Yeah, I just came up with it just for fun. I said I think the Bills are going to win, obviously being a Bills fan, but I think it's going to be really close. I said Bills 31, Bengals 27, only because there's some reason the Bills been doing great with like getting interceptions on the last drive for people. I think you guys are going to have a chance to win the game. You guys be driving down. I think like you said, it could be a pop-up pick or something like a fumble. Something's going to happen where the defense is going to get the ball and kind of close the game out. Because you guys, it's going to be a spot where you can't just get a field goal. You might get down towards the goal line, and you're going to have to score. And that's just what it's been heading towards this since the beginning of the year. Yeah, you guys started off rough, but before the year even started, we figured this would be a game that would be implementing like the playoffs crazy, like just affecting it a lot. Like I think we were talking like even back then, like 1 seed or like something where it's going to come down to where it's going to be like a very big seeding, like at least oriented. I checked. I was messing around with like the playoff. What's that called? The playoff calculator on ESPN, and I was looking at it. If the Bills like lose to you, we drop from 1 to 3. Like instantly down to 3. And I think if we win the next,
like the 3 seed,
3 seed, 1 to 3.
Well, that's because they probably predict.
Yeah, the Chiefs go up,
Chiefs,
and then
the Bengals win out.
Yeah,
at that point.
So it's like even though it's only 2 drops, that drastically affects who you're gonna be facing. You know what I mean? That brings you into like facing the Ravens.
Normally, I don't care, honestly. Like if my team's in position and they're gonna like it's already a lock for them to make the playoffs. Normally, I don't care how they get in, but considering all of the injuries that we've accrued the past handful of weeks, I want there to be an opportunity for them to all be healthy. So I'm hoping within reason, if we do beat you guys Monday night, I'm hoping we go out there, we play some of our starters against Baltimore so we can ensure that win. And if we get the number 1 seed, I mean, that'd be huge. Home games, and you don't got to play a week. Trey Hendrickson can get healthy. All the dudes can get healthy and have a game plan. And I do like the extra time for this coaching staff. I think this team, and we see it time and time again, is one of the best teams in adjustments. Like the first, 8 games of the season, they came out in the second half and had great game plans offensively, defensively for 8 straight games. They never gave up a touchdown in the second half. I do like it when this team has time to game plan, when these coaches have time to get themselves situated so they can make adjustments in games and stuff. So I'm actually really hoping, they get this win this weekend. It's not the end of the world if they don't, because like they started off slow last year and went to Super Bowl. They started off slow this year and now they're back in the mix and they're going to be in the playoffs. So it's like
the only difference is if you lose, then that week 18 game is more important for you.
Yeah, which means that's what I'm saying. It's like a little more that week 18 games a little bit more important. But even if they beat you guys, I'd like to see them maybe try. Like I could see them I'd like to see them maybe sit Joe Mixon, but go out there with the offensive linemen, keep them fresh, try to run the ball out there. Samaj P. Ryan, make some play of the wide receivers and stuff. At least make somewhat of an attempt. Because let's be real here, the Ravens do have a really good team, and I know they beat us early on in the year. There's no excuse to lose that Ravens team. I just don't think they don't match up good against us at all. They don't even have Lamar Jackson. So they caught us in the beginning of the year when we weren't clicking on all cylinders. So we'll see. I mean, what is it? We're 11-4. Bengals are 11-4.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that 13-4, man.
That'd be key. Like I said, that's literally the difference. Like this, the one game between us that like win-lose, it's going to be affecting both parties. I mean, I was upset the Seahawks shit the bed because I was hoping they were going to beat. I was hoping the Chiefs were going to lose to the Texans. That was it the Texans that day, or no? It was the other team that's really bad. I can't think of it right now. Oh God, it was the Texans. They almost lost
Yeah,
to the
they
Texans.
almost they started out slow against Texas, came back beat them.
So it's like they went to overtime and they freaking won the game. And I was like, I just wanted to see them lose. It was like make it interesting at the second half at the last couple games of the year.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so I got some hot takes that I came up with.
For the
I've been doing
playoffs
this
or in
where
general?
I've actually been hitting a couple of these, which is crazy. Where like I'm just like, oh, I should be actually put these in my bets, but I don't because it doesn't make sense to because it shouldn't. Um, but
Is
I
it
got a
for the
couple down there.
playoffs in general, or
What do you mean?
your hot takes? Are they for like just
Oh
this
no, I'm saying hot
weekend?
takes for this game.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
the
you can do
game. Oh,
playoffs.
okay. No, I just didn't know.
Yeah, for the game. I've been doing it by game, like breaking down when I do Monday Night Football. I'll throw one in there. I got I've been putting this one and never really hits. Gabe Davis is gonna have his big game again. I need him to give it. Well, actually, he's only like 103 yards off what I need him to get, but I
Oh,
think he's
you
gonna.
got 2 weeks. Oh, you're talking about for the bets in the group chat.
Yeah, I got. So I
You
think
got
he's
2
gonna get.
weeks.
I think he can get 100 yards in this game. It depending how you guys play Diggs. That's the only thing. If you guys play everyone straight up in a sense, and you guys just have a safety help on Diggs, it won't free up him as much. And with Beasley out there, I don't know. But I think if anyone's gonna blow up, it's gonna be Davis. I don't think it's gonna be like a Knox.
Watch out for Cam Taylor-Britt out there. He's out there hunting heads, dude.
And then I got if that doesn't happen, I got James Cooks for 2+ touchdowns.
Well, they call them hot takes for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And my third and final, I stretched it out. I said the Bills are going to hold your guys' offense to under 300 yards. I don't think it's going to happen.
That's possible.
It's going to be close.
That's not that crazy. It's not the craziest take.
But no, I'm saying you guys are explosive offense, man. Like,
yeah,
300 yards, Burrow usually throws for that.
I'm just saying, but if Burrow has like a bad game, like what if Burrow throws for 200 yards? We only rush for like.
But I couldn't bring myself to say 250 because I'm like, that's so unrealistic. That's like
250 be a little tough.
That's what I'm saying. So 300 felt good. I would say hot takes for the league in general right now. I see the Panthers taking the NFC South now.
Yeah, I was joking about that in the group chat. I was like,
I was looking at it, Evan, and I was like, did the playoff thing simulator? I was messing around with it. It actually showed like if the Panthers get this win, it doesn't concrete them into that spot, but it almost does in a sense where Tampa, I mean, Carolina would have to lose the next week, and Tampa would have to win for Tampa to grab it again. So it could be very interesting how that goes. I mean, doesn't matter. Whoever gets in that spot's going to lose first. If it's Tampa, maybe they have a chance to win. But I mean, if it's not Tampa, you're going to lose first round anyways, and you're hosting it.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa has so much talent on the team that when all the talent actually shows up, they could slow a game down enough to where if like Tom plays his best of his ability, they could win. But yeah, right now, who knows? Like that'd be wild if Carolina fucking makes it in. If Carolina makes it in over Tampa, Tom needs to retire.
Well, all three of those teams there's a chance for all three of those teams, Falcons, Tampa, and Panthers to get it. That's what's crazy part is, like, even with the 2 games, there's so much stuff that can happen to give them that extra push in. And there's a lot that can happen for the Giants to get kicked out. And like the Seahawks can still get into it technically if things go right. If Washington starts folding these past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's a little harder for the Giants, but the Giants aren't locked in for a playoff game either. And the Seahawks are coming. Like the Seahawks pretty sure the Seahawks have 2 games they can win.
I think it's Seahawks. Games. I just had them on there.
You got to look out for the Packers too, dude. What if?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
What if
Packers
are coming? The Seahawks finish.
I got them right here. I got the teams. The games, like, where is it? The Colts Giants could be interesting this week.
Colts Giants. That's a game the Giants could lose.
Browns, Commanders. That's gonna be huge too.
Jags, Texans, or what is it? The Jets at the Seahawks.
Yep.
Come on, Seahawks. And the Vikings and the Packers. So like the Packers are right there too. The Packers
if the Packers win out and things go right, they can get into the damn playoffs, surprisingly.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be wild. And the best part is, Adam's like, we're locked to get in. I'm like, well, you're not actually locked in yet. So don't use the word we're locked to get in. It's like
what's helping the Giants right now is the fact that no one can touch Philly Philly would have to it all depends, I guess. I don't think the Cowboys can keep up now because I think they're 10. Are they 10-4, or they're 11-4 or whatever they're?
I think they're 11-4.
So I think they screwed themselves out of the situation of possibly getting that division, even with these. Even they would need the Eagles to lose an extra game or so.
Yeah, they're 11-4.
And the Vikings, I think they're 11-3 still, so they still have it, or 12-3, right, or 11-4 too. So
the Vikings are 12-3.
12-3. So if the Vikings win and they beat the Packers, that's going to force the Eagles to have to play that Week 18 game a little serious to keep the number 1 seed. That's what's going to help the Giants out. They're going to want the Vikings to lose because it's going to give the Eagles nothing to play for.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and if you're the Giants, you have to beat the Colts this weekend. If you're the Giants, you have to, because the Eagles could sit guys and still beat the Giants. And if you lose your last 2 games, dude, Seattle's 7-8. They could win. They could win their next 2 games. Yep. Their matchups are good. Lions could win their next 2 games. Packers could win their next 2 games. All those teams are in position to steal a spot from the Commanders and the Giants. And I honestly, who did the Giants play? Who this week? They play the Packers, or no? The Giants. The Giants play the Colts. Who do the Commanders
play? And the Packers face the Vikings.
Who do the Commanders play this weekend?
Commanders, they face I set it up. The Browns.
Okay, so yeah. I think the Commanders can beat the Browns, but we'll see. They got Deshaun Watson. It's going to be interesting. The Giants have to beat the Colts. They have to beat the Colts. If they lose to the Colts, it's going to make it fucking tight like a tiger, dude.
Yeah, they're not. That almost not kicks them out, but pretty much would. They would have to beat Philly to get in. They would have to beat Philly to get in.
This game's going to be huge.
And now with Philly losing that last game, I told you Dallas. I mean, obviously without Hurts there, it made it a little easier. But I think Dallas had their number that last game even before, without Hurts in there. With Hurts in there, it would have been a little bit closer. But yeah.
The Cowboys and the Titans are the Thursday night game. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good game. That's a good
Thursday night game. Well, let's be real here. The Cowboys are gonna roll the fucking Titans because I do like what's his name? Who's the rookie there, the quarterback for the Titans?
Oh, shit. I know you're talking about. I can't even think of his name.
Played for Liberty. It's gonna bug me now. Malik Willis.
Yeah.
So Malik Willis, I like the talent. I do like the arm talent in terms of the power. There's a lot there to work with. He could run and stuff. There's a lot you could do with him in the way the team schemes stuff up in today's NFL. But it's just, that's too much too soon for him. He's got to start against the Cowboys. They're going to be on his ass like white on rice. So
yeah, he's not going to be doing too much.
I'll save picks if you're going to get to picks. This week, I don't know if you can get into that stuff, but I was just looking at the games.
If you want to just all the games or just the
no, you could just whatever you were gonna do next. But I was just looking at them. I got excited. I was I was about to be like, this team's with this team, this team's with this team. But
we can go through a quick one. I'll just go through the games at the bottom, just to one side. I think the Finns Pats could be interesting without Tua in there. It's a weird thing with AFC, the 6th and 7th seed are so fickle right now in both divisions, where a lot can change in those 6th and 7th seeds. I think if the Finns lose this game against the Pats, they're literally screwed.
Yeah, I like the Finns to beat the Pats though.
No,
because
I do.
the
I see that.
the system bodes well for accurate quarterbacks. Steady two gloves is going to step in there and be like,
and he's got the weapons around him. It just could be interesting with what that Pats defense can do against him because they're not that bad still. They got their thing. They got a decent thing going for them, and their running back's just running people over at this point.
Yeah, well, Ramondre Stevenson fucking fumbled the ball against the Bengals and should bail us out. But yeah, I just it's tough because the Dolphins have good defensive personnel on paper, but they're not playing great. Like they got a good defensive back core. They've been giving up so many points, dude.
That's why, I think I'll give it to the Pats, but I think it's going to be very close. It might even go to overtime. It'll be very, very close. I think without Tua in there, who knows? But
be surprised, man. And ask Adam. Adam learned about Steady Teddy. Was it last year? Remember that when he was with the When was he with the Broncos?
Yeah,
Adam's like, oh, yeah, it's an easy game. Steady Teddy knifing him up. Adam hits me up, just goes, "What the hell just happened?" I go, "Steady Teddy."
Exactly.
Teddy two gloves.
I think we're on the same picture with Cowboys Titans. I think Cowboys are gonna roll. Like you said, they're gonna beat them probably by 10+ points. I mean, Henry hasn't been able to do as much. People have been just being, hey, we can just stuff the run and not to worry about the pass, really. So, Colts Giants. God, I would have to see the
tough one.
I would have to see the spread on that. I'm really curious what they're putting that in there because
it's a tough one because the Colts on paper have like a deeper and a more talented roster, but they're not playing good. And with the talent that the Giants do have and some of the athletic players that the Giants have, this Giants teams that come in, they're going to be well coached, going to be well disciplined, they're going to play hard, they're going to play efficient with what they do, and it's going to be a tough game for the Colts. I don't know. I feel like I'd like the Giants in the game. They should win. The Giants.
They should. I would take the Giants.
But I take the coaching and the discipline in the game plan that they're able to implement against a team like the Colts. Yeah, I think the Giants should be the favorites.
And if it was like a Colts +7, I'd probably take the Colts +7.
If it was the Colts if it's the Colts, well, let's see. If it's the Colts +7, I would take the Colts to cover.
Because I would think the Colts scored 3 points last game. They can't be getting that much. They can't be getting like barely under 7 points against the Giants.
It's because they're not running the ball enough. I don't care if Jonathan Taylor's not there. I don't care if they line anyone up and run it back. Run the ball 60 times.
That Zach Moss Hines trade just destroyed the Colts.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, who the fuck is Zach Moss playing for?
Dude, he's down in the Colts. He's the starting running back over there. Besides the other guy. I think it's a rookie.
It's 5.5.
That's basically touchdown round. That's touchdown area.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd probably take the under on that game. Probably like 39 points or something like that. I take the under.
Oh, dude, you were fucking close. 39.5.
I'd take the under on that.
Yeah, dude.
I would take the under, dude.
On that too. You know what I've been doing though? I've been doing okay with my NFL bets this year. I'm sick and tired this season. I'm sick of picking the games. A couple weeks ago, I stopped picking who the winner's going to be, and I just went after my yards and touchdowns and receptions and shit. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, nothing will surprise me at this point. The fucking Texans could come out and play the fucking Eagles, and I wouldn't fucking pick it. I wouldn't fucking pick it.
Well, because it's like that Seahawks last week, Seahawks, Kansas City. I'm like, Kansas City has been having some trouble with teams, and Seahawks aren't that bad. I'll give them +10. No, the fucking Chiefs covered that shit. I was like, massively. I'm like, I guess that was something I shouldn't have done. It's like all the big spreads, it seems like they actually hit. The people actually covered the big spreads. Pretty much almost all the big spreads were covered.
Yeah.
And it's like they usually never do that. So it's like, You live and you learn. What's the next one? Panthers Bucks. I'm taking the Panthers in this one. It's
We'll
at the Buck
see.
Stadium, but I don't think it matters. The Bucks have been so bad lately. That last game, they should have lost. That Sunday night game was pitiful. Like, I'm not sure if you watched any of it, Evan. Was not that great of a game.
Oh, dude. Carolina is +3.
Dude. And that's even, I would take +3. I don't think, but then you might tie with a field goal to tie at the end of the game.
Sam Donald's like, I called the Ghostbusters. We're fucking coming.
Dude, I might even take the money line on that. You're probably getting +150 or something.
Dude, let's just ride Carolina into the playoffs. Let's just fucking bet Carolina, ride them all the way into the playoffs.
Sam Darnold is playing some ball now. You know what I mean?
I haven't watched a lot of Carolina games lately. You want to know why? Because Anton and I get excited about Carolina every year because they're talented on both sides of football. Their offensive lines played better this year than people anticipated. They have solid athletic players on the front seven there with Brian Burns. They have really good DBs when they're all healthy. They're 4 deep at corner. They got Jeremy Chin back there prowling around. And then they got all these dudes that are good on offense. They got solid running backs. They got fucking DJ Moore and Terrence Marshall Jr., Laviska Shenault, all these dudes fucking pip the ball to. And every year, Anton and I lately have been like, we think that you look at this team, we're like, this is a team that can make it be a 500 dark horse 500 team, shake things up. They just don't do it. But if Carolina could get into the playoffs this year, that'll be so fucking awesome.
I think they're gonna, man. But do you think they have a chance to win this game, or would you take the Bucks?
It's tough because when you like we always talk about, it's similar. Sometimes it's this stuff with the rosters to me. Yeah, you got to look at the matchup. You got to look at where teams are strong and how teams like to implement their players. You got to look at the schemes and how they match up. But normally in the NFL, usually the talent of another team overall usually is a good indicator of the likelihood of a team winning a game, unless, depending on where the threshold of the quarterback is, right? Ideally, in an ideal scenario, if the Bucks played to the best of their ability, I'm taking the Bucks with their points. You look at the Bucks, they're fucking got a gnarly front seven. They have good defensive backs, young defensive backs that are inconsistent times, but their defense on paper is gnarly. Yeah, they got a lot of injuries on the offensive line, but they got a fuck ton of weapons. They have solid running backs. They got Tom Brady. I really think the reason why their offense isn't clicking is because I don't think that the guys that they have from a wide receiver and a tight end standpoint, they're not what Tom likes. Tom is like the guy, like right now, the second quickest snap to release. That's his game now. He gets the ball out really fast. How is Mike Evans? Mike Evans is supposed to operate down the field. That's how he wins. That's why he's not led the league. He's had over 1,000 yards in his career every year. Is he even going to get it this year? I don't know. But I don't think Mike Evans matches up well with what Tom does. Tom's not hanging around in the pocket for 10 years, and fucking giving everyone the Brandon Marshall treatment down the field. He's just not doing it.
Jameson Winston was tossing the ball no matter what.
Yeah, dude.
30 for 30,
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's tough.
I would take Carolina money line on this one.
I might say fucking just take Carolina money line because, dude, for weeks and weeks, what have I been saying in my power rankings? For weeks, I've been going, Tampa Bay's floated around 500 the whole year. And what did I say in the middle of the year? I kept going, yeah, this is where Tampa's going to fucking turn around and win 10 games. This is where Tampa's going to turn around and win 10 games and win the division. And they're just not doing it. They're just not doing it. I hope the Saints storm back and win. I don't give a fuck who wins. I don't care. Like, it's just, it's fucking, that division is so brutal. And I know you love this Atlanta Falcons team.
They're like, crap. Dude, all they had to do was win, they had to win one out of the last 3 games. They had to win one of them, and they just had to split the last games, and they have been doing garbage, and they've been kicking themselves in the ass. pretty much. They were doing good. You know what it was?
Yeah.
They took Mariota out, dude. That's what they took him out.
Well, it kills them because like they have the best young tight end in the league who fucking went over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. You don't even fucking use them. It's not one of these teams that just they pound the ball, pound the ball, pound the ball. When you got guys you can throw the ball in the air to, and Drake London and fucking Michael Pitts, or Kyle Pitts, it's brutal, dude. I don't know what the fuck their deal is, but my boy Desmond Ritter's out there getting a little action, so that's good.
But it's definitely interesting for that. The next one, what is it? I forgot what the next one I had come up here was. Colts, Giants, Panthers, blah blah blah.
Browns.
Oh yeah, the Browns
Commanders.
at the Commanders. I think Commanders can take it, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, that's gonna be a super close
game. If
Heineke
shows up well and doesn't give the ball away for free, they should do pretty well.
Browns are plus 2.5. Well, the Browns are another team where you look at this team and you're like, how are they losing to bad teams? The roster is fucking fantastic on both sides of football, and you got Deshaun Watson now. You know what?
They're playing at Commanders too. They're playing at Commanders, so that's really a -5, like +5.5 for the home field gone.
I kind of like the Browns in this game, though.
I like the Browns too. That's why I think
this is a game where Cleveland shows up and they're like, yeah.
I think Commanders might be a sinking ship right now. Like they're going down, and then the Heineke's going down with the ship. But I think he'll be there next year because he's the only one. He's the only shining star, kind of like diamond in the rust in a sense over there. McLaren's good too. They got good defense. It's just there's something weird going on.
Quick question. I want you to riddle me this. I know I've had a lot of success in the betting, but there's definitely things that like you showed me about the apps and stuff like that, that I didn't even know, even though I've been winning money. Why is it that so Cleveland's +2.5 against the Commanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the betting odds on that are a -110. Why is it +110 if you just pick them to win straight up when it's that close?
I don't know. If I was doing that, I would just
take it for the better odds.
I would take the straight up.
Like, what are the odds of you winning by a point?
I think I saw that earlier where last week it was like 1.5 or 2, and picking them straight up would have been like you said, +100 something. It's very odd.
I'm gonna put in my fucking shit right now while we're talking.
And then I think Commanders are gonna sink this one. How about the Jags at Texans? It's divisional, and the Texans have been giving the work to people a little bit as of late. But the Jags have been striving up, getting that 4th seed. You know what I mean? They're right up in the picture for that. I think they're currently in it. I think the Titans are out already.
Yeah, I like the Jags.
Same here. I mean, the Jags have to be at least getting 4 or 5 in that. I would think against the Texans. Probably, I mean, being divisional, it's probably be like around that 5-6 mark or something like that, 5.5. But it has to be close to that. I wouldn't give them 7 to 10.
The real question is, how do you feel about Atlanta and Arizona? That's a tough one.
I think Atlanta can win it. I think Atlanta can, but Arizona should have beat Tampa. But Tampa's not a good, I guess, not a good margin line for them because they're not that great of a team as of late. So I don't know. I guess I would take Arizona only because it's not going to be the 3rd string quarterback back there anymore, I don't think. But I don't know if it's still the 3rd string guy. Like, it's been so long that I forget why Kyler's even out anymore. It was a knee injury at one point or something. I don't think he got surgery yet or whatever. I can't even remember what happened to him at this point. Can you?
Kyler, he hurt his knee.
Yeah. But he's been out like 3 weeks now, right? It's been a minute.
Yeah, no, he's done for the season.
Oh, it was an ACL?
I
something like
think
that.
so. Something wrong with his knee.
Yeah, I'll do something like that. So it's like then that Colt McCoy's got a freaking neck injury. Now the third stringer's in there. It's like, come on, boys, you gotta. They're kind of just having crap luck. So I would put it in Arizona's hand. No, I would put it into Falcons' hands only because I would love to see that. Like, just if the Falcons get this win, it'll make that last week ridiculous because they faced the Tampa. I think at Tampa or even at their stadium, whatever it is, and it's gonna make that whole scenario like Carolina, Atlanta, like Tampa. They're all gonna be intertwined with each other. Whoever wins loses. So to get them that fourth seed, so it'll be interesting.
This one's a crucial one. What do you think about the Jets and the Seahawks? That's a big one.
It is. I think the Seahawks grab it because the Jets, their defense is good. They've been playing well enough, but their offense isn't doing really much for them. And especially Wilson's not going to start anymore. I'll tell you that much right now. I think that ship sailed. I mean, they literally benched him for the third stringer. I don't think he had never started any game. They benched him for a third stringer. Wilson's done. They're not playing him anymore. Sorry, he wasn't even injured. They just put him on the bench. A healthy scratch as a top pick a couple years ago.
It sucks. So I loved his arm talent coming out of school, but he played for BYU. They played a lot of bad teams and stuff like that. I thought his arm talent, if he went to the right place, was enough for him to win in the NFL. But you could see clearly when you hear him talk and some of the decisions he makes on the field and the way he talks off the field, he's not committed.
No, he's not. You can't come off a bad loss and be like, do you think part of it was your fault? No.
No.
You're the quarterback and they scored 3 points, bro. Come on, dude.
Dude, Minnesota is the underdog against Green Bay on DraftKings.
I mean, is it at Green Bay?
At Green Bay. Yeah.
That's why. What is it? Probably 3 points.
I might take Minnesota out here, dog. I'm gonna take Minnesota.
Well, I think Minnesota should be able to win the game. Packers didn't have a great game against the Dolphins. I mean, they definitely thrived off the three picks from Tua at the end. So
I'm doing this just for fun. All these teams play. I think we have a full slew of games this weekend.
Oh yeah, they probably all playing Sunday, dude. There's tons of every game is pretty much Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So there's 16 games.
Yeah,
this weekend. Daddy for fun has put a $2 bet in on all the games.
And
16. the parlay odds 7, 9, 8, 3, 4, 7, 1.
Damn, it's a big odds. It's like what, like 14K off $2.
$2 makes me 159,000.
That's massive.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Oh my god.
You see it? I don't even know if the camera can see. You see it right there, baby. Hold on.
That's some big odds right there, boy.
Oh my god. There it is. $2 bet. If I win, we're going to Sizzler.
Let's wrap this up a little bit. I got my upcoming videos. I'm gonna be dropping my normal Thursday night football preview and prediction. Then I'll be doing a Week 17 Sunday game prediction / same game parlays. Last time, Evan, I put in like multiple same game parlays throughout multiple games, and it boosts your odds like crazy. Like you pick 2 from one game, 2 from another game, 2 from another game. It boosted like a 6 leg into like just regular 2 picks, just picking like rushing yards and crap like that, and 2 like I think it was like it gave me like $1 equals $2,000 on one of them. It boosted the odds pretty heavy having multiple same game parlays in one, in a sense. That's how they kind of broke it up. It was weird how they stated it, but it made sense in an aspect. I've been putting my Sunday night football in there as a parlay, so I'm not putting too many videos, like 6 videos out a week. Then I'm doing a Monday night football update and same game parlay. By then, there's going to be good picks out to put in for it, and go over some injury reports. You're going to have an idea of who's actually going to be playing. It looks like both teams should be healthy, but who knows? In a sense, around fully healthy. And then the Bills Bengals post game recap. Obviously, I'll be doing a little bit more, but that's all I'm saying for today. I got some sponsors as well. Check out my wife's Instagram page, Crochet with Elisha. It's Crochet, WITHELISHA. She does hats, mittens, gloves, jackets, cardigans, anything you could think of from like infants up to adults any size. You just have to do some quick measurements for certain people and like just so you get arm measurements and things like that, so she knows how to put so much stitches in for you. But shoot her a DM if you want anything from her, and she'll definitely reach back to you with some questions. Then of course check out Mr. Nasty Time over there. Evan. He's got a good channel.
Gang.
Got a good channel going for him. He does, like you were saying earlier, he likes to break down UFC fights. He's been watching that for like 20 years now, and actually doing like martial arts UFC for at least 15 plus on that. So he knows what he's talking about when he's breaking down the fights. He also does. He's not doing a weekly power rankings anymore. He's breaking down like weekly games at this point, and kind of like playoff prediction in a sense.
Yeah, I got a little busy and I wasn't able to pump out as much content I wanted to lately. So it might sound lazy or whatever, but maybe next year I'll do my power rankings like maybe quarterly, because you get to the end and I don't have a lot to say. I got to like for the teams that aren't that good. Like how many times I'm going to tell you the Texans are fucking rebuilding? You know, or maybe I'll conduce it. Maybe I'll like chop top it down 16. To like top 15 or 16 or something like that next year. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get all you guys on, the mainstays on my podcast, to come on for a final like season, like season's over with, wrap up, playoffs are set. Let's talk about the playoffs. And then I'm going to make some videos here and there. I'm going to start doing some videos of my buddy Griffin on the fights where he break it down, and it's just gonna be him and I talking about MMA and stuff. A buddy that I've been training, so got some of those coming up.
Yep, he also streams his gaming on there as well. He's been doing a lot of Warzone 2.0, getting some dubs. The chat's always interesting when you're watching it. So if you want to watch it for just the content alone, that's what you didn't really watch him play, just listen to it.
Yeah, all my stuff is Mr. _Nasty Time right down there at the bottom.
Exactly.
Of fancy little thingamabber.
I even got this right here too.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I
appreciate
it.
But no, even so check him out. He also does some he did some Modern Warfare 2, and he's doing some Madden franchise too as well. So if you're interested in that, he's very good with kind of acting as the general manager and kind of going through teams and trading and just tinkering around and building people and whatnot. Good watch. Yes, but that's gonna be it, boys. Boys and girls, have a good night. Go Bills! Obviously,
thanks for having me on, brother.
Hey, no problem.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, and all the fans keep watching, supporting this guy. It's awesome that he has a channel, and have a good night.
Yeah, I'll be definitely adding you on this, doing an at you, so you'll probably should show up at least associated with your channel. Okay, nice night.